Hey, welcome back to the Confidad Podcast. Dan Tinquist here, your host. So glad you chose to tune in again today. Let's begin today like we do every episode this season with our fatherhood mindset. Say it out loud with me. I'm the only one who can fulfill the father role I have, so I choose to do it well. I get to show up well for my kids. Imperfection is reality. Ownership is a choice. Today is brand new. So is tomorrow. I am wholly loved, so I will love holy. Today's equipping section, I want to talk about cultivating competition. Maybe for some of us, like our family, we don't really have to do much for competition to come into play. My wife is incredibly competitive. She's beat me in just about every game of Scrabble we've ever played in our entire marriage. I think I've won twice in almost 15 years. We used to play this game called Pounce where she would just beat me all the time. I did it because it was a way to spend time with her. She did it because she likes to beat me and anyone else that she can. Now, that has also been adopted by most of our four boys. Not all of them, but here it is. Competition is always a part of how they play. Maybe that's your experience. And when that is your experience, it's very difficult to know how to cultivate respect and health with kids who are competitive, because win at all costs. That's the mentality. It's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes, push my brothers out of the way, do the thing to get the goal, whatever. Like, we're going to do whatever it takes. Now, when that becomes part of your culture in your family, it's very difficult to at one point say, hey, respect and honor your brother, or respect and honor your sister at the same time as win at all costs, because we don't see our opponent as a human being when it's all about winning at all costs. We see them as an obstacle in the way of us getting to our goal. Weird. Like, we're objectifying another human being as an obstacle that is in our way that must be taken out no matter what. Now, agree with me, disagree with me. It's just an interesting analysis of how competition can become toxic in a family setting, in any setting, honestly. But how can we teach healthy competition? How can we help our kids understand you still need to respect your opponent as a human being? You still need to honor them as a person who bears the image of God, even when you're competing against them. There's a few different things that we've done and incorporated into our family in order to help our kids adopt this mindset, in order for their minds to be changed in such a way that no matter what level of competition, they still have a high level of respect and honor for the person who's on the opposite side of the playing field. Now, one of the things that we've done is we wrote a little prayer for our opponents, and we laminated it and we tied it on their hockey bags. And so when they carry it in and out of the locker room every single game and practice, it's right there. And I don't know how often they read it, but we know that the more the words are around us, the more we start to see them, adopt them. It starts to change us, right? And so it talks about, being grateful for the opportunity to compete, having a body that's whole, a mind that's sound to be able to do these things. So starting with gratitude and moving through to honor and respect and saying, no matter the winner or loser, we choose to honor and respect the opponent. It's very difficult when people don't have that perspective that they're playing against, right? So there's an opportunity to learn resilience, to learn standing your ground and saying, no, it's important for us to live this way, because this is the way we've been taught by Christ, by the church, by what we learn as we grow in honor and respect and caring for people around us, right? So that little prayer was a cool idea, and I think it's been fun. We've had people comment like, oh, that's neat, you have that. It's like, great, thanks. I hope that we all can get to a place of understanding that competition always should fall below honor and respect of the humans that we are playing against. And you see it in the highest level of competition in our world. The people that make it to the highest level understand the sacrifice that they and their families and all the people in their lives have had to make to get them to that point. And so it's almost built in with that. Now, there's obviously still, clashes and that sort of thing. But last night we watched the Minnesota Wild lose to the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the backup goalie for the Minnesota Wild is Marc-Andre Fleury. I think 21 seasons in the National Hockey League. He had played for the Vegas Golden Knights and I believe won a Stanley Cup. He has won, I think, 3, maybe more. He's a future Hall of Famer. And I had my kids watch the handshake line after the game, as bummed as we were as Wild fans, but that's sports in Minnesota. For those of you not from Minnesota, Vikings fans, Twins fans, Wild fans, Timberwolves fans, like we know what disappointment feels like, right? Timberwolves just went on to the next round. Way to go. But Minnesota fans, we get it. I had my kids watch that handshake line because I wanted them to see what Mark Stone and Aiden Hill and these other players who played with Marc-Andre Fleury on the Vegas Golden Knights, I wanted them to see the way that they honored and respected Marc-Andre Fleury in the midst of victory, right? It's exciting to win. It's exciting to go on to the next step. And those people who have won a Stanley Cup, they know what it takes and how fortunate they are to be in that position. And even after their victory, they took time to shake hands, to give honor and respect to a man who has devoted his whole life to being one of the greatest goalies of all time. It's beautiful. And so there's another opportunity we have to see that honor and respect should always be elevated above competition, because in the end, it is just a game. It's just a game. No matter what game it is, whether it's card games or hockey or golf or whatever, it is a game. Now, a lot of beautiful and important things happen in the midst, in between, and among those games, but the competition itself is just a game. Here's the last thing, a little piece of equipping I can give to you today. 2-3 years ago, we made this rule in our home that we could have no competition after supper. Once the last meal of the day had been completed, we were not doing any competing in our family, like within and amongst the brothers. Because here's why. We let them do it for a while, and it would just amp them up so much. The one that lost would be so disappointed. He'd be screaming and yelling and throwing stuff and trying to hurt his brother that he lost against. And then we'd try to get him ready for bed and settle him in, and it would not go well. And it was just pushed bedtime back that much. And we saw that it was very difficult for them after spending an entire day at school and at practice and then eating dinner together, their self-control muscle was gone. They got none left. We know, and brain science tells us, you only have so much self-control in a day. And so most of the time our kids are exercising that all day long at school. Then they come home to us. That's why they kind of be punks to us, because they've spent all day they've spent all day self-regulating and making sure they're on their best behavior, well, hopefully, or most of them. And it's a gift when they come home and they're actually a little bit dysregulated, because it means that they were nice and kind and courteous, respectful to their teachers. And that's okay. They can be real with us. They can be dysregulated. So anyway, I digress. We didn't allow competition after supper because of what it allowed them to do, who it allowed them to become. Now, our oldest, extremely, extremely competitive and also very persistent. No, we should be able to play. Dad, it's nice out. We got to go outside and play. We can't just not go outside and play. And so we had to find ways to cultivate competition in a way that allowed them to continue to honor and respect each other without becoming combative, right? Cultivating healthy competition instead of combative competition. So here's what we did. We came up with different games where they're actually competing against themselves. There's some different ways. You can set up an obstacle course and have them time themselves and then try and do better than they did last time, increase their PR, right? Get their time down, or compete against each other in that way, but at least they're not at each other's throats, throwing footballs, tackling, doing knee hockey, whatever. There's another fun one that we developed was getting a little hit stick, a skinny little baseball bat with little ping pong balls or wiffle balls, and they have to try and hit it against the wind as far as they can. Super fun game that they have a hard time doing, especially in Red River Valley wind, where a calm day is 15-mile-an-hour winds. and they're having to hit it, focus, and drive this ball as far as they can. And it's funny because it just spins up in the air and falls about 4 or 5 feet in front of them. And to be able to do that and compete against themselves while they're competing against each other is a great way to cultivate healthy competition and reduce combative competition. So I hope today to empower you with some ideas. Maybe just get the ideas flowing. If you have a competitive household, how do you help raise honor and respect above competition, but also continue to engage, continue to have fun with your kids, not just saying, nope, we can't do no more competition, just cut it off, not happening, because that's not always the best way. If they're asking for something and we just say no, they're going to find a way to get it, right? So finding a way to scratch that itch for them, with them, and be able to allow competition, but be creative enough to say, okay, we're going to do it in this way where you still can be honoring and respectful of your competitors, but also find an outlet for that competition. So I hope that's helpful for you. It makes sense. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode.